Well, hello everyone, and welcome to A Morning with the Lord. Now let's get right into it. They've gone and done it. They've gone and bloody done it. I hate to say it, but they've destroyed me childhood. I've been in a fetal position for the last half an hour in the corner, just trying to figure out how to deal with all this emotion. And they have, I can't even say it, they've changed Buzz Lightyear's voice. No. It's ridiculous. Surely they can get Tim Allen back. Pull it together. Alright, it might not be too bad. Like, maybe Buzz Lightyear is actually like a title, you know. It could be. Maybe. Right? Maybe there's more than one. This could be like Buzz Lightyear's great-great-grandfather. Cornelius Buzz Lightyear. Don't know. I would say though that the ad is very pretty. I mean, and the spacesuit looks a little bit older. It looks like an almost human spacesuit, so maybe it is. Or maybe they're going to make it that the toy was based on this character from real life. God, I hope not. That would actually suck. I would much prefer it to be like an old Rello of Buzz. But at the same time, you know, like I love Chris Evans. That's who's voicing Buzz now. I love Chris Evans. But what's wrong with Tim Allen? I mean, Chris Evans is a pretty funny dude on the movies, but I mean, Tim Allen's a legit comedian. I mean, with him, I don't know if he ever actually had anything to do with the original sort of, you know, script or anything like that out of the original Buzz Lightyear, so maybe his humour doesn't even come into it. It's not even worth it, but I don't know. I am a little disappointed. I mean, surely Tim Allen's still working. I mean, they did Toy Story 4 only not long ago. He's right. But like I said, the spacesuit does look a lot older, and I'm holding out hope that they're going to do our Buzz some justice. And if they do make it an old character, don't throw any toys in there of like Buzz Lightyear. Don't ruin the illusion. Throw in the toy truck that was in Brave and everyone fucking complains about. God, that annoys me too. Oh, like I love this. I love a YouTube channel called CinemaSins, and it took me a long time to understand sort of what CinemaSins was. Like, I tried figuring it out for ages because they have a sin counter, and I thought maybe there was like a certain number the sin counter had to get to, like there was some sort of, you know, uniform structure to every show, but no, it's just random and, you know, nothing means anything, like really. It's just sarcastic viewpoints on certain things, but they bring up what a lot of people have. There's a scene in Brave where the lady where Brave goes to, I forget her actual name, but you know, she goes to the witch's hut and they've got the pizza van from the original Toy Story there, and you know, people are like, how can that be there? It's not even keeping up with the dates, you know. And the cinema said, like, good point, like why not put Rex there or something? Seeing as he's a dinosaur, you could at least extrapolate that they knew what that was. But at the same time, you know, it's magic in a fucking kids movie, and the witch literally disappears. She could be a time traveler. It's all completely plausible. That's another thing I want to say. I want to get this out on the air right now. I am sick of people complaining about Superman turning back time in the first fucking Superman movie. I'm done with it. I'm sick of it. It is completely plausible that what if that scene isn't Superman spinning the world back in the fucking opposite direction, but Superman literally flying fast enough to turn back time. And you can bring up that he shouldn't be able to do that because the Flash is the only one that can do that. And if Flash can't do it, then why even... if Superman can do it, what's the even point of Flash? But, I don't know. Let's say fucking Flash farted him some of his speed force. You know, Flash exists in the DC universe just because he wasn't in the movie. What if he was, helping Soups out? Moving so fast, Soups didn't even see him there. Could have been... It's all possible. Anyway, I've got that off my chest. I've been waiting for years to say that. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, yeah. So anyway, that's my opinion on some of the entertainment news of the day. Getting on to real news now. I've been looking at the Channel 9 news feed here. I scrolled past a bit of them, but I've got down to 2 articles that I would like to look over. One is about a man getting a TV reporter being allegedly attacked by protesters. Allegedly is in the title. And the other one is our Prime Minister's first chance to talk with the French President after the snub uproar, which I brought up yesterday. After the snub uproar, sorry. I brought this up yesterday that we were having, some serious issues in our relations with France. So I want to have a look at that and just sort of see what they've got to say.
It's been a long, hard journey for the coalition to arrive.
We got a video. All right, let's listen to it.
Reaching net zero emissions by 2050. Scott Morrison says his plan to get there charts a painless path to a low emissions future.
It gets the balance right to ensure that we protect jobs, protect livelihoods, protect incomes, protect their way of life.
Labor says today's plan adds little to the technology roadmap released last year.
There is net zero modelling, net zero legislation and net zero unity.
The Prime Minister won't reset the near-term emissions target of 26 to 28%, but is forecasting a better outcome.
And we'll beat it with emissions reductions, we believe, of up to 35%.
The road to net zero begins with a 20% cut already banked. The next 40 arrives through the $20 billion being invested in new technologies like clean hydrogen. It's assumed another 15% will come through global technology trends. 10% is counted as international and domestic offsets, and the last 15 comes in a basket labelled further technology breakthroughs.
I've seen more detailed fortune cookies than the document released by the government.
But the man who'll be leading the International Climate Conference in Glasgow says Australia has come a long way.
They've done a heroic thing, the Australians, in getting to that commitment.
The government's betting everything on future technology, both for hitting its emissions targets and delivering jobs, claiming that new fuels like hydrogen and extracting the minerals needed for green technology will add 160,000 to the workforce by 2030.
Extracting the minerals needed for green technology. Can you believe that fucking shit? So, sorry. We need to mine so we can make your green energy. Shut up, sit down and eat your shit. Fucking you heard it here first, folks. Well, you probably heard it on Channel 9 and everyone else first. But that's the government's way of saying, fuck up, and we're mining this shit. We need it. Fucking need it. Anyway, that wasn't even anything to do with Australia and France. That was just a random video, apparently, that Channel 9 likes to throw up. Another website just full of random shit plastered in between the actual article. Alright, let's scroll down here and we'll have a little bit of a look. Okay. Right. The United States, Australia and France will be at the same table this weekend for the first time since a new Anglo alliance pulled the rug out from under a $90 billion submarine deal. A group of 20 summits scheduled. A group of 20 summit scheduled for this weekend in Rome. The first in-person gathering of leaders of the world's biggest economies since the COVID-19 pandemic started. Oh, okay. Sorry, I read that totally wrong. What a weird way to write a sentence. Okay, a group of 20 summits scheduled for this weekend in Rome is not business as usual. And that little bit was somehow put in the middle. That's especially true since as soon as the event ends, a bigger United Nations summit devoted to climate change begins in Glasgow, Scotland. In many ways, the 2-day G20 meeting is serving as a Roman holiday preamble to the 12-day Glasgow summit, with the climate dossier taking centre stage at the new Nuvola, or Cloud, Convention Centre in the Italian capital's Facet-Era EUR neighbourhood. Some of the participating presidents and prime ministers met at a COVID-focused group of 7 summit in July, and some passed one another in the UN hallways during the General Assembly in New York last month. But this is the first time the leaders of countries that account for 75% of global trade and 60% of the world's population will be meeting as a group of nearly 2 years of virus-induced lockdowns. Last month's announcement of a US-British deal to sell nuclear-powered submarines to Australia illustrated Europe's geopolitical vulnerability. The deal scuttled France's $90 billion deal to sell a French-made diesel-powered submarines to Australia and led the French government to take unprecedented action of recalling its ambassadors to Canberra and Washington. US President Joe Biden and French President Emmanuel Macron have spoken twice by telephone since the tiff and are expected to meet privately in Rome. Mr. Macron is aiming to secure US backing for the establishment of a stronger European defence, complementary to NATO and contributing to global security, the President Elise Palais said. Palais? Palaszczuk? No, it's not Palaszczuk. Spelt P-A-L-A-C-E. Anyway, Mr. Macron has not spoken with the Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison since France's submarine sale went south. However, and it's not clear if the two will meet in Rome. Oh, great. So, totally fucking bullshit article. Mad. Well, let's finish it. Carlo Altomonte, a professor of European economics at Milan's Bocconi University, said the US-British-Australian deal was clear evidence of shifting strategic priorities and attention to the Indo-Pacific region to counter China's increased assertiveness, in this case at the expense of Washington's traditional European allies. This, in a way, obliges the European Union to decide autonomously a series of local geopolitical questions at the G20 level and beyond that until now had long included Washington as the heavyweight partner, Professor Altomonte said. Climate change key, but Xi Jinping absent. While economic recovery is a top agenda item, host Italy hopes the leaders will set a shared mid-century deadline to reach net zero greenhouse gas emissions and explore a commitment to reduce methane emissions as well. The United Nations and climate activists also want the G20 countries to fulfill their long-time pledges of providing $100 billion a year in climate aid to help poor nations cope with the impacts of global warming. G20 members are responsible for over 80% of global emissions, said Renata Dawn, Deputy Director of the International Affairs think tank Chatham House. So there is a responsibility when they come together as a group to think about the promise of $100 billion in annual climate financing that is not being met. But what can be achieved if the leader of China, the world's #1 carbon polluter and #2 economy, doesn't show up in Rome? President Xi Jinping, who hasn't left China since early 2020, is expected to participate remotely, as is Russian President Vladimir Putin. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador also isn't coming into. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida hasn't confirmed his presence due to a weekend national election. The absence of Mr. Xi and Mr. Putin sends a signal that Europe should note in particular, said Massimo Franco, international affairs columnist for Italian daily newspaper Corriere della Sera. If China doesn't come to Rome, if Russia, which has a lot of energy to sell to Europe, doesn't join the G20, I think that this G0 will be a confirmation of European fragility from the energetic point of view, Mr. Franco said. Well, I just want to stop here for a sec. Granted, China and Russia electing to not be there, so to speak, except for in a online manner, isn't the most outrageous of things to happen in this COVID bullshit. I mean, wasn't Italy the worst affected by the coronavirus? I remember the very first pictures of hospitals with their morgues overflowing, which, was only a picture of a room with 3 coffins in it, was that was from Italy at the very start of all this bullshit. So holding a fucking summit with all the most highest world leaders in fucking Italy doesn't sound to me like the greatest idea. I mean, they might be in a different position now, and we have the vaccine to protect us, but all these world leaders are old, man. Well, most of them, not the youngest of groups, and people still get the virus with the vaccine. I don't understand the logic exactly behind those statements, but anyway, let's keep going here. Turkey, one of the G20 members, was in a position to cast a pall over the upcoming meeting when it threatened last week to expel the ambassadors of 10 Western nations over the support for a jailed activist. 4 of the threatened envoys hailed from G20 nations: Germany, France, Canada, and the US. The G20 also include Argentina, Australia, Brazil, China, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, the United Kingdom, and the European Union, and Spain holds a permanent guest seat. Italian Premier Mario Draghi, who helped to save the euro with his now famous promise to do whatever it takes, will have his hands full trying to steer the meeting to nudge some solid climate commitments ahead of Glasgow, while negotiating a new era for European multilateralism. Not whatever it takes, but I think he'll try to point out the strategic points for Europe and how Europe can play a role in this mess, newspaper columnist Franco said. Okay, and that's it. So, a bullshit article to talk about G20, which makes no sense, and basically doesn't say anything except Russia and China aren't going to be there. And this was meant to be about the French. God, I hate bullshit articles. They're all bullshit. They're all bullshit. Alright, well, let's go to the other story that I wanted to cover today. The 4 men wanted after a reporter assaulted, spat on at a Melbourne protest. There's a little video here that I think is part of it, so let's play that and see what it says.
Allcastle Homes builds spacious, affordable, luxury homes perfect for entertainment families. Like the new 43 square metres, part of our premier...
I'm not giving them anybody advertising. Don't listen! Don't listen! Don't listen! They gotta pay me for that shit. Alright, here we go. Alright, we're seeing a picture of police lined up with cavalry in front. Like I've said this before, I just want to reiterate, where was all this police presence when the vegan protests were going on? We didn't give, well, this much a shit about that, did we? Alright, this video is just all pictures of the police. And once again, like, I really think this is reporters trying to say something. Yep, this video is just, now we're seeing protesters walking through the streets very calmly. I haven't seen a single one of them being agitative. Like you would be agitative. I mean, Jesus Christ, look at the fucking police they got for this shit. It's just a joke. It's honestly just disgusting. And if all this assault is being spat on, fucking grow up. I get it's a disgusting thing. I get it could spread disease. It is not a very good thing to be doing. But for the least of shit to happen to you being spat on, like if that's the most fucking offensive thing they got, those protests were pretty fucking timid. Because you're going to have, like, as much as you're going to have the percentage of, you know, good people there just trying to say something, you're always going to get yobbos. Hell, people get spat at every fucking day without a protest. Every bus you walk onto in the city has, like, it comes up saying that bus drivers have DNA kits to help prevent against, like, that very thing. You know, so... yeah, that's definitely not something you want to endorse people doing, but fuck, if that's the worst thing, it's not too bad. But let's have a read here. I might be jumping to conclusions. So it says, 4 men are wanted after allegedly assaulting 7 News reporter Paul Dowsley during an anti-vaccine protest in Melbourne last month. I'm sure that's not what the title said. Hold on. Like, when I clicked on the link, it was to do... attack by protesters. 4 men wanted for allegedly assaulting 7 News during a construction protest in Melbourne last month. The title isn't even the same thing. It says it's a construction protest. And then you click on the link and it goes in and it says it was to do with vaccines. Dowsley was allegedly assaulted, spat on, and had urine thrown at him while reporting on the job on September 21. In the first incident, he was walking among protesters on Swanston Street near Franklin Street when he was allegedly attacked by 3 men about 11:15 a.m. One of the protesters allegedly grabbed Dowsley by the neck, with the second man spitting on him while the third man threw liquid believed to be urine. Now, okay, that's not cool. That's not on. If I can say only one thing, it's stuff like we really need to be careful here, because they tried doing it with the vegan protests. You know, there was a lot of talks about making protesting illegal because it was disrupting fucking roads, like one street in the city. God, that shit me off too. You want to complain about one city street being locked down? Fucking drive around the block, you bunch of pansy whinging cunts. Like, I'm totally for protesting, but like, we need to be like, you can't do this shit because they will fucking use it. And like, yeah, we got away with shit like that in the past. I mean, hell, look at the fucking like fur is murder cunts, fucking animal like protesters, vegans and shit. Like, they will show videos, like they will show disgusting shit. They will throw blood on people, which is a lot worse than urine, mind you, even if it is fucking animal blood, because urine is clean, blood is fucking dangerous. Or, you know, they would throw red paint. Like, this is a common theme from protesters, and like, still, I would like to illustrate the point. If this is the worst we got, and there wasn't many cases of it happening, we are doing very, very well. Because, like, shit can turn ugly real quick. We all know it can. Human mob mentality, man. Like, we are dangerous when we're emotional and we get together. But, like, I think more than this being evidence of unruly protesters, this is more evidence that shit was under control, like to a 99% factile sort of rate, you know, because the just that story, he was grabbed by the neck, which is obviously the assault part, and you can't do this, people. You can't do it. You're only going to get in the shit. But, like, it was obviously one dude grabbed him, so the other one could pour fucking urine on him, because, you know, half this shit is people worried about the news telling lies. And, like, just from a couple of days of looking through, like I said, like, that video was all showing the police. Like, I think there's a lot of background struggles that are going on. I mean, like, all the conspiracy theorists say the press is Murdoch, well, not even conspiracy theorists, I don't want to use that word because it'll put a fucking bad tone on the thought, because it's true, Murdoch owns the majority of the press in Australia. None of us, like most of the people I talk to, feel that they have like waning trust in all this official media, and like they have become the target. But they're not all bad people. Like, I've seen, like I said, a lot of evidence of what I think is reporters trying to get the true story across without waving a red flag and getting sacked. You know, I'm seeing a lot more evidence of that than I am of reporters being shit. You know, luckily. And I'm honestly quite surprised. You know, news has always been one of those things, like, you got to have puff pieces. Like, that last article was just fucking clickbait. You know, but like this story, you know, this is the type of thing, like a reporter being assaulted, that they can just blow up and make look like it's fucking the worst thing in the world. And here's a quote from him. He says, "I've been struck at the back of the head by a can," he said while live on air. "That's really hurt. I've been grabbed around the neck today and I've had urine tipped on me. Now I have had a can of energy drink thrown at me." I mean, seriously, I know, like, that's dangerous, you know, especially if the can's full. Fuck, you could knock someone out, you could near kill someone. But, like I say, you know, these reporters throw themselves, like, in the middle too, remember? I mean, they're trying to get the good shots and shit. You know, if protesters are throwing shit, step the fuck back. This isn't your fucking Khe-Sanh. You don't need to die on this hill fucking trying to get reports of the deadly protests. Save your body for something more important. Now, Dowsey received minor injuries from the attacks. The first man that police are searching for is perceived to be Caucasian in appearance, with dark hair, and he wore a green-grey high-vis hoodie, dark track pants and black gloves. Oh shit, mate! If you hear this, I'd hide, because that's gonna narrow you down in that fucking sea. I tell you what, that's pretty. I bet everyone remembers who that is, just from that report. The second man, who police allege spat on the victim, and there's actually a picture of someone spitting. It's probably him. He probably had the cameras around, I'm sure. Is described as Caucasian in appearance, with facial hair, a balding or shaved head, wore a brown jacket and dark pants. Balding or shaved. The picture I see, if that is a dude, is clearly shaved. I think that was a jab. Ooh! To the ribs! The third man, who allegedly threw a urine at the victim, is described as wearing a bicycle helmet, grey jacket and blue jeans with dark patches. While the fourth man, who allegedly struck Dowsey with a drink can, wore a light blue jumper, blue track pants and a white stripe and a light coloured beanie. This is another thing too. Protesters, if you're throwing shit at news reporters, they have fucking cameras. Kind of part of being in the news. So just remember that. Police hold concerns about the unacceptable behaviour and have released images of the four men they believe can assist them with their inquiries. Police said in a statement they released 4 pictures of the fucking suspects. Or are these not the suspects? Have they legit just gone and found 4 other fucking pictures? That would actually be fucking funny. And terrible. Imagine that. They've got like these guys' faces. Imagine if that's not them. The article doesn't say it's them. Men after 7 years reporter. They just saw reporting a protest. Yeah, no, the article doesn't say it's them. It just says, like, the blurbs under the pictures just say, like, what happened. There is no little caption saying these are the men we're looking for. So imagine that. Imagine if they've just gone and put 4 fucking poor cunts' faces on the fucking news. Aren't even part of the shit. Oh wow. Okay, well that's the end of that article. But yeah, I wanted to cover that because it's like, yeah, this is something I consider to be truly important, is our right to protest. You know, no matter what sort of rules they change, we cannot lose that right. You know, if they ever bring that up in conversation, I want you all to say, Lord Duffield said. He fucking said, don't let that happen. I'll die on that hill. Literally will. Anyway, well, I think that will do us for this episode of A Morning with the Lord. A nice short one for a Friday and a week. Getting into swing for the weekend. I'm got some plans myself this weekend. I've actually I've started my own indie record label, and we're gonna hopefully get working on some projects. So keep an ear out for that. Yeah, I'll definitely start posting on Facebook and whatnot when that's all done and we're going. But yeah, good things are coming. Anyway, lords and ladies, I thank you all for joining me. I've been Lord Duffield. You've been listening to A Morning with the Lord. Today is the 28th of October 2021. Almost Halloween. I'm going to have to do myself up another jack-o'-lantern today, even though in Australia we don't really celebrate Halloween. And if you consider it if you are of pagan persuasion, we have to reverse the date, so Halloween isn't actually now, it's in the other half of the year. But either way, I like joining in, and jack-o'-lantern, I did my first one. It's actually really cool. I was surprised how much light it actually gave off. It almost looks like the glowing basketball in Space Jam with all the grooves and whatnot. But anyway, thank you all for joining me, and until next time.